For most of human history, sugar was a miracle. Not a not treat, a miracle. Something you might taste a handful of times a year. Something you'd risk your life to get. Your ancestors climbed cliffs for it. They fought off swarms of bees for it. They walked for hours through forests just to find a single ripe fruit. And when they finally got it, their brains lit up like a fireworks show. That same brain is sitting inside your skull right now. It hasn't been updated. It hasn't been patched. It's running software written hundreds of thousands of years ago. And it still believes with absolute certainty that sugar is rare. That belief is quietly running your life. It's why you can't stop at one cookie. It's why a vending machine feels magnetic at 3 p.m. It's why a child will scream over candy but shrug at broccoli. None of this is a personal failure. It's an ancient survival program meeting a world it was never designed for. So the real question isn't why we love sugar. The real question is why a brain built for scarcity is now drowning in abundance. Imagine you're an ancient human, roughly 50,000 years ago. You wake up before sunrise, hungry like you are most mornings. Breakfast is whatever you can find or chase. Most of what you eat is tough, fibrous, bitter, or bland. Roots that taste like dirt. Leaves that taste like nothing. Meat that took half a day to catch. Then one afternoon, you're walking through brush and you smell something. Something sweet. You push through the leaves and find a tree heavy with ripe figs. Your body does something automatic and ancient. Your mouth floods with saliva before you've even reached for one. Your brain releases a wave of dopamine that feels almost spiritual. You eat as many as you possibly can. Not because you're greedy. Because tomorrow, this tree might be empty. Next week, a bird might have stripped it bare. In a month, the season is over and there's nothing sweet for the rest of the year. Your body knows this in a way your conscious mind never had to think about. It says one thing very clearly: eat all of it now. That instruction never got deleted. It's still in there, quietly issuing the same command every time you walk past a bakery. Here's the important part. Sugar wasn't just tasty to your ancestors. It was a signal. A signal that a food was safe, ripe, and full of fast energy. In nature, sweet almost always meant calories with no surprises. Bitter often meant poison. Sour often meant unripe. Sweet meant green light, eat now, eat fast, eat all of it. So evolution did something brilliant and, in hindsight, slightly cursed. It wired the sweet taste directly into the brain's reward system. A single drop on the tongue triggers a cascade of pleasure chemicals. The same circuits involved in love, music, and falling in love with someone's voice. That's not an exaggeration. Neuroscientists have shown that sugar activates the same dopamine pathways as some addictive drugs. In one famous set of studies on rats, researchers found that animals given intermittent access to sugar developed behaviors that looked startlingly like addiction. They craved it. They binged on it. They showed signs of withdrawal when it was taken away. Now, humans aren't rats. But the underlying machinery is shockingly similar. And that machinery evolved in a world where this was a feature, not a bug. If finding sweet fruit lit up your whole brain, you'd remember exactly where that tree was. You'd come back next year. You'd tell your group. You'd survive better than the human next to you who shrugged at honey. Honey, by the way, was the jackpot. A beehive contained more concentrated calories than almost anything else in the ancient world. There's cave art, tens of thousands of years old, showing humans climbing impossible heights with smoke and baskets, raiding hives. People died doing this. They did it anyway. Because their brains were screaming that this was worth it. And honestly, for almost all of human history, their brains were right. Then, somewhere around 12,000 years ago, something started to shift. Humans began farming. Suddenly, calories became more predictable. Then a few thousand years ago, we figured out how to extract sugar from cane. Then we learned to refine it. Then we learned to ship it across oceans. Then we learned to put it in absolutely everything. Bread, sauce, yogurt, cereal, salad dressing. Things that aren't even supposed to be sweet. Quick gut check. If you're enjoying this, drop a comment with the sweetest thing you've eaten in the last week. Don't lie to yourself. I want to see if your ancestors would be proud or horrified. And while you're thinking about it, ask yourself this. When was the last time you went a full day without tasting something sweet? For most people alive today, the honest answer is they can't remember. For your ancestors, the honest answer would have been most days of their life. Now back to the strange part. Your brain has not noticed any of this. Not the farming. Not the refining. Not the global shipping. Not the vending machines on every corner. From your brain's perspective, you are still that ancient human in the forest. And every time you walk into a grocery store, it sees a miracle. Aisles of ripe fruit that never goes bad. Shelves of honey that no one had to fight bees for. Entire walls of pure crystallized sweetness in colorful boxes. To a brain expecting scarcity, this looks like the greatest harvest in human history. So it does exactly what it evolved to do. It says, eat all of it now. Because winter is coming. Because the tree might be empty tomorrow. Because this might be the only sweet thing you see for months. Except it isn't. There's more in the cabinet. More at the gas station. More at the checkout line, placed there on purpose by people who understand your ancient brain better than you do. This is where the mismatch gets brutal. Scientists call this an evolutionary mismatch. It's when a trait that was useful in your ancestors' environment becomes harmful in yours. Sugar cravings are one of the cleanest examples we have. The same instinct that kept your great-great-grandmother alive is now quietly contributing to one of the largest public health problems on Earth. Not because anyone is weak. Because the environment changed faster than the biology could. Think about that for a second. Your DNA hasn't meaningfully changed in tens of thousands of years. But your food supply has changed beyond recognition in the last 100. You are an Ice Age creature shopping in a 21st century supermarket. And the supermarket was designed, shelf by shelf, by people studying exactly which buttons your Ice Age brain still responds to. Now here's where it gets even stranger. Children are wired even more strongly toward sweetness than adults. Newborns will reflexively smile at a drop of sugar water on the tongue. They'll grimace at anything bitter. This isn't a personality quirk. It's a survival feature. For an ancient child, sweet meant safe and full of energy. Bitter meant possibly poisonous. A toddler refusing vegetables isn't being difficult. That toddler is running a program written by ancestors who really didn't want their kids eating random leaves. Your modern kitchen is at war with that program every single night. There's another twist most people miss. Your body doesn't just want sugar. It wants the specific combination of sugar and fat almost no food in nature contains. Fruit has sugar, but almost no fat. Nuts have fat, but almost no sugar. Meat has fat and protein, but almost no sugar. In nature, you basically never encounter sugar and fat together in one bite. Your brain was never tested against that combination. So when humans finally invented it, the result was overwhelming. Cake. Ice cream. Donuts. Chocolate. These aren't just foods. They're cheat codes for the ancient reward system. Combinations of sugar and fat so intense that no fruit, no honeycomb, no ancestral food could have prepared the brain for them. That's why a single bite of a really good dessert can feel almost emotional. Your ancient circuitry is encountering something it has no defense against. It's not gluttony. It's a Stone Age brain meeting a 21st century pastry chef. And losing. So what do you do with all of this? You don't shame yourself. You don't pretend the craving will ever fully go away. That craving isn't a bug in you. It's the same craving that kept a long line of ancestors alive long enough to eventually produce you. But you can do something they couldn't. You can notice it. You can recognize the exact moment your brain starts whispering, "Eat all of it now," and gently ask whether the tree is really about to be empty. It isn't. There's always more. That's the strange new world your ancient brain hasn't accepted yet. Tonight, you'll probably eat something sweet. A square of chocolate. A spoonful of ice cream. A sip of something cold and sugary. And in that small moment, a brain shaped by Ice Age forests and African savannas will quietly light up the same way it lit up for a handful of figs 50,000 years ago. A small ancestor inside you will feel like they hit the jackpot. That's not weakness. That's history, alive in your body right now. If this changed the way you see your next snack, hit the like button so more curious people find this video. Subscribe to Hominin for more strange truths about the ancient humans hiding inside you. Drop a comment telling me what food you think your ancient brain is most fooled by. And stick around, because next time we're going to talk about why your body still acts like it's hunting, even when you're sitting perfectly still. Your Stone Age brain is reading this sentence too. And, somewhere in the back of it, it's already wondering where the next sweet thing is.